Chapter 37. Hotty Botty. One of the guards gestured for the old queen to put her weapon down. The other three looked at her. Grammy was no fool and dropped the blaster, turned to the floor. Clatter! Another guard approached slowly and picked up the blaster as the others all kept their weapons trained on the gang. Then one guard gestured for them to make their way out of the belfry and down the stairs. Soon the gang of four had reached the narrow room that ran alongside one of the giant clock faces. The hands of the clock turned on a giant black rod, which they passed under as they walked. Agatha still had her walking stick, and Alfred had a bright idea. Ding! "Let me borrow this," he hissed, and without a word she handed it to him. As he passed under the rod, he scrambled up his grandmother's back. Then, hooking the end of the walking stick onto the roof, Alfred swung towards the guards. Whoosh! His foot clipped the helmet of the first one. Clonk! One by one they knocked each other over. Clonk, clonk, clonk. In no time they were lying in a heap on the floor. "Run!" ordered the old queen. As fast as they could, which wasn't really that fast, they made their way out to the clock room and slammed the door shut behind them. Shtum! Bang, bang, bang! The guards all hammered on the door, but Agatha grabbed her walking stick and jammed it into the lock, keeping it closed. Shunt! Looking down over the balustrade, the old queen spied more guards now, waiting at the bottom of the stairs for them. Zap, zap, zap! Boom! The door behind them was being blasted open. "We're trapped!" exclaimed Grammy. "I have an idea," said Alfred. "Follow me." He climbed onto the banister and began sliding down as fast as he could go. Whoosh! One by one, the three old dears followed. "Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh, whee!" exclaimed Enid. "This is fabulous," added Agatha. "My body is hotty," hollered Grammy, "and I like it." The royal guards fired their weapons up at them. Zap, zap, zap! But they were going so fast they were impossible to hit. Instead, plaster exploded from the walls. Boom, boom, boom! The guards at the bottom of the stairs didn't stand a chance. Whack! Alfred flew slap bang into them, knocking them over. Clonk, 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 thud, thud, thud. The three old ladies stepped over them as they raced out of the clock tower and back to into the Houses of Parliament. Retracing their steps, they twisted and turned along the maze of hallways into the chamber until they finally reached the smashed window through which they had entered. "Go, go, go!" ordered the old queen, making sure she was the last to leave. The four slid down the rope and landed back on the bow of HMS Sceptre. "We did it, Grammy," said the boy. "You did it, Alfred," she replied. "Now to the tower." But just as they were hurrying back inside the submarine, something parted the black clouds in the sky and loomed over them. It was the airship. "Oh no," said Alfred. A flurry of laser shots rained down from above. Zap, zap, zap! The old queen was hit in the back. "Ah!" she cried as she fell face forward into the black water. Splash! "No!" screamed Alfred. Chapter 38. Life and Death. Grammy was floating face down in the water. Alfred rushed over to the side of the submarine as a laser blast after laser blast scorched the hull of the HMS Sceptre from the airship above. Zap, 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 zap! Boom, 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 boom! "Grammy!" he cried as he tried to slide down into the water to reach her. Enid yanked him back. "I know you love her, but you can't help her now," she implored. "You get inside before you are blasted into pieces too." "No!" cried the boy. Zap, 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 zap! Boom, 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 boom! "You are coming with me," ordered Enid, and she dragged Alfred inside the submarine as laser blasts rained down all around them. "Grammy!" Zap, 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 zap! Boom, boom, boom! Once inside, HMS Sceptre lurched off at a speed as more laser blasts hit the hull. Zap, zap, zap! Boom, boom, boom! Tears rolled down Alfred's face. "I can't believe Grammy's gone," he sobbed. "The old queen died how she would have wanted to," spluttered a tearful Agatha. "A hero." "Much better to die a hero than live as a coward," remarked Enid, choking back her tears. "Shot in the back," said Alfred. "With her head held high," continued a distraught Enid. "The best way we can honour her now is to complete her mission. We must save this country. I speak for all of us ladies when I say we will serve you now, Prince Alfred. We await your orders, sir." They all looked at the boy. Alfred took a deep breath. He was not ready for this. Not ready at all. He was only 12 and still in his pyjamas. But now was not the moment for this. To the tower! All the old ladies rushed to their posts on the submarine. Alfred stood up, dried his eyes in his sleeve, and resumed his position by the periscope. It took all his strength just to stand there and not to collapse to the floor with grief. He'd never felt more broken. "Is the target in sight, sir?" asked Agatha. "Yes, the Tower of London is in sight," replied the boy. "Shall we load the torpedo?" said Enid. Alfred looked down at the orb, ready to be wheeled into position. He hesitated. His mother was still locked in the tower. "Are you positive that that thing isn't going to blow the whole place into smithereens?" "Just a hole, sir," replied Enid. "A big one, but a hole. It is meant to take down a destroyer, not a city." "And all the prisoners would have heard the 13 chimes," added Agatha. "They know this is coming. What would you like us to do, sir?" For the first time in his life, Alfred realised that life and death was in his hands. The responsibility of being a prince and leader of men, or rather old ladies, was upon him. "Load the torpedo," he ordered. The ladies in waiting struggled with the weight of it, and Alfred went to help them. Just like the submarine itself, the torpedo dated back to World War I. It was battered and cracked, and Alfred wondered whether it would go off. It was 200 years old after all. Lifting it from the cradle, Agatha cried out, "Oh, my back's gone." The torpedo slipped out of her hands just as it was about to smash onto the floor, and goodness knows what. Kaboom! Alfred took the extra weight just in time. "Phew!" exclaimed Enid. "Phew indeed," agreed the boy. With great care, the torpedo was loaded into the tube. "Orb is ready to launch," announced Agatha. Alfred gulped before making the announcement. "Fire!" Then nothing happened. Nothing at all. Not a sausage. Nothing. "Sorry," said Agatha. "I think I left the safety catch on." She flicked a switch. Click. "Oh dear. Right, ready?" "Fire!" commanded Alfred again. This time he could feel something was happening. The entire submarine rattled. Then, bang! The torpedo shot from the cylinder, through the periscope. Alfred could make it out, surging down the river. Whoosh! Before, kaboom! It hit the Tower of London and exploded. In an instant, the ancient building was in flames. Smoke billowed across the river. Through it, Alfred could make out figures diving into the water below. "To the surface!" he ordered. As soon as the submarine had ascended, Alfred raced up the ladder and leapt onto the hull. He was desperate to spot his mother in amongst the prisoners leaping from the burning building into the River Thames. Splish, splash, splosh! Most were swimming to the far side of the river. Alfred spotted a figure from behind the others. He remembered his mother could not swim very well. He plunged into the water, splosh, and swam over to her. "Mamma," he called. "Lionheart, I knew you'd save me," she replied, bobbing in the water. She held close to him. "I love you," he said. "I love you too." The Queen held her son even tighter, and their heads were under the water. "Blub, blub, blub." "You drowned me," exclaimed Alfred. "I am sorry. I just love you too much." "Come on," said Alfred. He took her hand, and together they swam towards the submarine. When they had reached the relative safety of the vessel, they heaved themselves up onto it. "Where is Grammy?" asked his mother, looking around. Alfred shook his head. He couldn't bear to say it. "Gone?" she asked. The boy nodded his head. "No!" Tears welled in the Queen's eyes. "No, not dear old Grammy. How did she die?" "Shot in the back. I am sorry. I know how much you loved her. Oh, I really did. And I know how much she loved you. There will always be a part of Grammy inside of you. Never forget that." "I won't, Mamma." Just then, a small voice in the water cried out, "Don't forget about me." Alfred squinted to make out who it was. "Might?" he cried. Together, he and the Queen hauled her out of the water. "Thanks," said the little girl. "Thought I was a goner." Laser blasts began exploding all around them. Zap, 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 boom, boom, boom. The three held on tight to the hull as HMS Sceptre powered away from the blazing Tower of London. Alfred saluted. "Goodbye, Grammy," he said, as her body drifted down the river.